My God, is this week an exciting week? And no, it's not because it's sunny outside. Season tickets are officially back on sale to renew, but not only that, Champions League tickets and FA Cup and League Cup tickets are all set to be included in those season ticket packages. I've got all over it straight away, but the prices when they released on Friday for the Cup games have caused a bit of debate between the Newcastle fans on social media. So I'm going to be discussing it as they've just gone on sale this week. So do us a favour, Newcastle fans, make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black White Banter, you absolutely lovely Newcastle fans. I'm making this video absolutely sweating my balls off. I would probably be doing this topless if that wouldn't make this a weird video, but it probably would. And I don't want to be put on a site that starts with XXX something. So I am keeping the top on, but my God, the heat is just different in England when you're abroad, isn't it? To sound like a true Brit. But forgetting about the weather, if you're new to Black White Banter Newcastle fans, do us a favour. Whack that little like button, whack that subscribe button, get us across all social media, Black and White Banter, all one word. I've had so much fun over the weekend creating all sorts of content for Joe Linton scoring his first goal. Big up Joe Linton, by the way, whilst I'm very quickly on that topic. I made a great video of him singing to his teammates, made an interview with him after the game, translated, fully truthful, of course. I only ever post factual stuff on Black and White Banter. So make sure you check all that out. A couple of them have gone viral and I absolutely love making them. So Black and White Banter across all socials. And let's get straight into things. So like I said at the start of this video, unless you've been living under a rock, season tickets and cup prices for next season have all been released. And as I make this video, I can go online right now and literally sign on the dotted line for next season. And I've already done it and I cannot wait for that season to begin. Real Madrid getting absolutely bossed by Dan Burn and Jacob Murphy. Is there going to be any sweeter sight than that? Oh, bring it on. Literally, the days are getting ticked off on a calendar. But the main topic of this video that I'm going to talk about a little bit further and give my opinions on is the cup prices. Now, on Friday, it was when the big debate started on social media. Champions League prices, if you are to renew now, with them included in your season ticket, are going to be £55 a game. FA Cup tickets are going to be £30 and Carabao Cup games are going to be £20. So it's all going to be under one umbrella, very similar to how other teams have been doing it for a long time who are regularly in Europe. Your Manchester United, your Arsenals, those sorts of teams. So you can sign up to it all, you get your seat guaranteed. Obviously, if an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup game ends up being at home, that money comes straight off. So you're not paying for anything that doesn't happen. Essentially, it'll come off I think it's 7 days before the match is about to happen. So if we get Stevenage at home in the third round of the FA Cup, 7 days before that game, you have already agreed that you want to go to that and the money will automatically come off your card. But the Champions League, we know we are getting 3 games at home. Ho, 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 ho. So £55 has caused a bit of debate, and before I get into this, I do want to make clear from what I've seen on social media, it's probably about a 75-25 to an 80-20 kind of split, with the majority happy to pay whatever Newcastle want to charge just to hear that Champions League music belting out round St James's. So it's not a huge amount of people, it isn't. So I just wanted to make that clear, and that's just those figures are just based off what I've glanced over. There's actually probably more people complaining about people complaining than what there is complaining, if that makes sense. So yeah, not a large majority, but it has caused debate. I'm not going to name any names. There was actually someone who complained about the prices on Twitter. She had to actually delete her Twitter account. I don't know whether it was permanently deleted because she was getting that much grief for talking about the cost of tickets and how expensive it's going to be to go to every match in the season. Not nice to see someone has to delete the social media, but yeah, that person did come under a bit of a battering. So where do I stand on it? Well, for me, £55 to watch one of the greatest sporting competitions in the world, and one that Newcastle have not been in for 20 years, is very, very reasonable. Is there an argument that it could have been lower? Well, of course. But that's like saying a Premier League match could be lower. Like, there's so many prices in St James's Park right now that could be lower. The price of a pint could be lower. I'm sure they'd still make a bit of money on it. But what I'm trying to look at this from is a lot of different factors, and that's what I'm going to go through now. Now, again, before I get into this, I am very aware that expensive and cheap to every single individual is very different. No one is better than anyone else in that regard, and some people have a lot of money disposable, some people don't. Some people work, some people don't. Some people have families, some people don't. Lots and lots of different variables why someone's opinion would sway to either expensive or not expensive. But forgetting about that, I am looking at this from a football and a business perspective for Newcastle charging these prices. Now, as I just said a couple of minutes ago, the Champions League in footballing terms is the greatest spectacle on the club level. It is. No matter where you go in the world, the Champions League is watched. If I went to Brazil, they would watch the Champions League. If I went to Asia, they would watch the Champions League. If I went to Australia, they would watch the Champions League. It's the greatest teams in the world all under one big roof, playing each other and trying to win the most, however you want to word it, the biggest, the most, I can't even think of the word, the Champions League trophy. I can't think of the most craved, maybe that's the best word, but it is, it's probably the most best looking trophy actually. I like the Champions League trophy, how big it is. Beautiful trophy. Can't wait to see Newcastle lift it next season. But no, sorry, I've totally lost my train of thought there thinking about Newcastle in the Champions League, as happens all the time. But it's the biggest competition. So bearing that in mind, you've got to remember football is one of the most popular sports in the world. So let's base that, if it's one of the biggest competitions, let's base that off the NBA and basketball, the playoffs. Tickets for that go all the way to 400, and I know the cheapest you could get for a really shit seat in the stadium in the NBA playoffs probably is $100 plus, $120 plus. The Super Bowl, the American Super Bowl, and just NFL games in general. I've been to America quite a lot. Huge amounts of money for tickets. No cheaper than 100 easily. And then you go in the Premier League. Let's look at what Newcastle currently charge for Premier League matches. If you wanted to watch Newcastle play Man City last season, for an adult, you are not getting any cheaper than £40. If there is somewhere cheaper than £40 in St James's, maybe it's 38 at a push for level 7. Ticket prices would have gone for that game, for Man United as well. The category A home games will have gone all the way to £55, £60, £65 as you get in the Platinum Club and whatnot. And that's Premier League. So this is, in my opinion, it's a hard one. Do you compare the Champions League and the Premier League? League versus Cup? I don't know. But the Champions League is the wow factor of the footballing world. So £55 for one ticket is not bad at all. Then take into consideration the fact Newcastle haven't been in this competition for 20 fucking years. Then take into consideration, and I did some homework into this one and digged out a ticket from 2002 when Newcastle were last in the Champions League against Feyenoord. If you remember them, obviously we had a great day in Feyenoord for the second game away from home when Bellamy scored that last minute winner. But at home at St James's Park in the Milburn paddock, it was £32, 20 years ago. Now, if you do the maths on inflation and you do all the calculations, £55 is probably less than what it should be 20 years on for the same competition, bearing in mind with how football has changed. £23 in 20 years. If you literally take a second to think how much football has changed in that time, and I can guarantee when we were playing Feyenoord back in 2002, there probably wasn't fans whinging about the cost of a ticket. I don't think St James's Park was actually filled the last time we were in the Champions League. Anyone watching this who went to them games, who was a little bit older than me at the time, please let me know on that one. But that's another factor we have to take into consideration with this. And the third factor, from a Newcastle perspective, we have to trust the owners. Everything the owners, Amanda, Maydad, Jamie Rubin, and everyone that works with them, Darren Eales, who's been fantastic at turning teams into global brands, they will have all sat down. £55 was not just a random figure plucked out the air like Mike Ashley might have grabbed. This is a number that will have some strategic background to it. There will be so many factors that have come into play, and let's just trust the owners, because we've got no reason not to. We are still in the stages of developing our academy, still in the stages of developing our training ground, still in the stages of becoming a team to challenge for the top 4 regularly and titles and whatnot, as Amanda Staveley said when she first took over. Let's just keep a bit of faith in why these prices are these prices. So that's from a Newcastle perspective. Now, the main argument I've seen on Twitter from people not happy is, oh, well, Chelsea charged a lot less last season. Man City charged a lot less. Look what Bayern Munich charged. They charged like £15 for Champions League tickets. Right, let's just again analyse that verdict. Now, let's compare us and Manchester City. I digged out some Manchester City Champions League prices when they played Red Bull Leipzig last season. Red Bull Leipzig at home for them ranged from £25 down to £55, and I'll put that on the screen, those prices. Yes, £25 is a wonderful price for the Champions League. I'm not arguing with that. But to compare Newcastle and Man City as two clubs that should potentially be charging the same amount for this competition is just ludicrous in my opinion. Manchester City, we are where they were when they got taken over just a couple of years in, and we've got Champions League so fast. You can guarantee Man City, when they first secured Champions League after their takeover, charged much higher prices. Man City are a global brand now, supported all over the world. They have an incredible academy infrastructure. They have a training ground infrastructure. Their owners have done all the investing, even in housing in the area, that they've wanted to. And it's just, you know, Man City is an animal of a football team these days. It is. That's why they're winning things year after year after year. And it's a brand. We are trying to become very similar in terms of model in the infrastructure of the team, the appeal of the team around the world. And our revenue streams are nowhere near Man City. I don't have those numbers in front of me to compare, but they will be nowhere near. So to compare ticket prices and what they can charge to us is a ridiculous argument. Even Chelsea, yes, they haven't been very good on the pitch the last couple of years. And yes, their Champions League campaign last year was absolutely donkey. But Chelsea are a global brand. They've been a player in the Premier League. They've won the Champions League. They've been a powerhouse, if you like, of England since 2003, 2004 when Mourinho and Abramovich came in. We cannot be compared to these London teams even. We can't. And that's why I don't buy that argument neither. I really, really don't. And I just think to look at things, generally speaking, £55 is so much cheaper than what I would spend on a night out, pissing me money up the wall with the lads in Newcastle, going in bar to bar to bar and waking up with a stinking hangover. It's less than what I'd spend on a new pair of tracksuit bottoms and maybe a t-shirt for the gym. There's just so many factors. And look, without sounding like a total dick, if you can't afford £55 for a Champions League game, football, yes, as Newcastle fans, it is the be-all and end-all of our lives. But you should not be going into debt, crippling debt, if it's that worrying for someone for a football match that you can watch on the television. And that's as simple as it is. If it's too much for you, someone else will happily pay that money. I'm not saying that means someone can't have an opinion and they'll still pay it. Of course, you want to watch your team in the Champions League. I would just like to think, after all the factors I've just rhymed off, that maybe anyone watching this video might rethink the fact that they thought £55 was expensive. Now, the one price I'm going to question with season tickets, which have gone up, by the way. I think about 5% my season ticket's going to go up in the strawberry corner. I'm happy with that. Look what's been invested in. Totally different chalk and cheese. If Mike Ashley had tried to put the prices up, that probably would have made me walk, if I'm being totally honest. I was on the price freeze under Mike Ashley, so my prices were never changing. If I was asked to pay more with nothing coming in, that would have probably tipped me over the edge in the Ashley era. I say that. I wouldn't have got rid of my season ticket. I'm chatting shy there. But I would have talked about giving up my season ticket, but not actually giving up my season ticket. The only price I'm not so happy with, and I would love, like I say, I'll keep an open mind to why they've done this. There must be reasoning. I would like to find out, is what I should say, is FA Cup. Now, for FA Cup to be more expensive than Carabao confuses me, because in the Carabao Cup, the lowest opposition we could play is League 2, I believe. The FA Cup, we could literally be playing a team that's come all the way from the Northern League and we've gone through all them preliminary rounds, that's a difficult word to say, that are going on right now, about to go on. As soon as the season starts, the FA Cup early rounds begin. We could be playing a really low league opposition and it'll still be £30. Like look when we played Cambridge last season. Does that warrant £30? I'm not sure, and I think that is a big jump. You know, Cambridge last season I think was £10 for adults if you pre-booked, and then it doubled if you paid on the day. So to go to £30 for FA Cup in the third round when there's a very high chance you can be playing very, very low league opposition, like there could be 80 places between us and a team we play in January, surprises me a little bit. Carabao Cup, £20, that's fine. What you find at the Carabao Cup is you're playing Premier League sides quite early. Look at who we played last year on the way to the final. Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Leicester. That's fair enough. I don't think anyone's arguing with that. But £30 for the FA Cup, I'm a little bit unsure. I would like more information on that as a club. And I would like it. Amanda and Merdad and Jamie have been fantastic for communication. And Darren Eales and Dan Ashworth even. I would like, now that the prices have been released, a bit of information. Whether it's at a fan forum event, what we would all like to know why these prices are these prices. And I fully trust them, no matter what they would say in a fans forum event. But it would like to be... that, you know, that would just information on that would be good. Now I am going over to the American pre-season games. There is talk of fan events to engage fans again with the owners and whatnot. Maybe that could be an opportunity for it. But hey, season tickets are back, Newcastle fans. If we thought the fixtures being released was a toe in the water, I've just stuck my second toe in the water and I've only got 3 left. Ooh, now let's get some players through the door. Let's get them pre-season friendlies. That game against Gateshead in a couple of weeks. Let's get it back. Get the new shirt on. Newcastle fans, please, especially for this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments on ticket prices, particularly Champions League, particularly FA Cup, and just what you think. Do you think it's really unfair? Are you outpriced from going? Which I would hope is not the case for anyone. My heart would be broken for anyone who can't actually go to all 3 games because they can't afford it. Let me know in the comments. And if you don't agree with any of my points, again, pipe up. Call me worse than shit. I appreciate someone disagreeing with me, you know, as long as you realise that you're wrong, that's fine. And if you've stuck around this long, Newcastle fans, drop down, give us a like, give us a little subscribe. That'll be absolutely fantastic. I'm so close to 2,000, so close, and that would mean that it doesn't sound a lot to the YouTube sharks of this world. I'm a little fish, but it would mean a lot. So do that now, and I'll see you on the next video where hopefully it's looking like I might be able to talk about something concrete on the transfer front. I'll see you on the next one, Newcastle fans. How are the lads?